Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar. My name is Ahmed Babic, and I'm an Azure DevOps engineer. I started my journey with system verification in 2019 and currently working as an Azure DevOps team member. System verification is a global quality assurance company specialized in advanced quality monitoring, analytics based on artificial intelligence. It also provides services within business analysis, test automation, test management, CI/CD, and DevOps. The company's customer satisfaction index scores 93%. As you know, this is our second session in webinar series, Unlock Your Potential with Azure DevOps. Today, we will be talking about how to reach from idea to code. This session will be performed by my dear colleague, Ajla Sokol. Just a little housekeeping before we start. In case you have any questions regarding this topic, please put them in the chat box of Zoom channel or send it directly to me. We will bring them up at the end of the presentations as we have planned some time for questions at the end. This session will be recorded for those who could not participate today. So without any further delays, let's give a word to my colleague Ajla, please. Let's start.
Okay, thank you, Ahmed. Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's presentation. My name is Ajla Sokol, and today we will go through a very interesting topic of how we organized Azure DevOps as a tool to help you out in a complete delivery with what, when, and who in mind. As Ahmed mentioned, this is our second in line of the webinars related to the Azure DevOps and a way of implementing your work together with it. Just shortly about myself. So I have completed Bachelor in Electrical and Electronics Engineering, and I'm currently finishing up my master thesis from Computer Science and Engineering. For almost 2 years, I have been a part of system verification and have worked as a quality assurance engineer as well as a DevOps engineer, which is the role I work in currently. I am from Sarajevo, capital of Bosnia and Herzegovina, and I am working from our Sarajevo office. I have been part of the system verification since the beginning of 2019. Ahmed and myself are part of the Azure DevOps team, and we work in collaboration with other team members from our projects. We work on the implementation of the Azure DevOps services as a tool with all the best Agile and DevOps practices and try to provide the best guidances to users together with a new process implementation. All these practices that we preach as a team, we do implement in our work as well. Our way of working is agile, and we do see results from it in our case. Also, I would like to introduce you with our business representative, Henrik Selman. He's also working with us from the Malmo office, and he is a part of this great journey that we have with us. Okay, so this is the agenda for today. We will start by having a short recap of what we talked about in our previous sessions. Then we will continue on introducing the problem and the challenges that are present in the delivery of projects. And we will then go through the first step towards the solution of these challenges. So what is actually our starting point in this journey? In order to give you a better overview of what we aim for, we will show you a short demo of complete delivery plan in the tool. And afterwards, we will jump into the explanations on how do we reach this goal. We will define what and when is delivered, and we will then show that through the demo as well. And after the demo, we will conclude our session and we will have Q&A where I will try to answer a couple of questions in the last 20 to 30 minutes. So feel free to add questions in the comment section and we will bring them up at the end of this session. Okay, so in our previous webinar, we have made an introduction into Azure DevOps services and why it is useful to be implemented in various different setups of software development projects, but also how it is adjustable to any other type of project as well. These were some of the topics that we discussed. So we touched upon some of the challenges, such as transparency, collaboration, and way of working setup. in which implementation of the tool and a new process such as Agile can help you out with. We also did a demo of the tool with a short insight into the features of the tool. So these features are related to boards, repositories, pipelines, artifacts, and test plans. So all the features that are covered in Azure DevOps services. And we also discussed on all steps that needs to be done in order to migrate towards Azure DevOps. The interesting topic was that we shared a journey of one of our customers, of one of our clients, and very exciting journey, I would say. So in case you are interested in this webinar, but you have not seen it yet, it is available on our system verification webpage. Okay, so let's now start with today's topic. So at the beginning, before we jump into this, just to know that a lot of practices that we talk about currently are inspired by and guided by the Scaled Agile Framework best practices. So Scaled Agile Framework is quite an interesting topic in itself, but hopefully you get the note and feel of it through our presentation as well, so that we don't have to jump into it that much detailed. So Azure DevOps Services is a great tool for delivery and provides a high level of flexibility. So you are able to adjust it per the needs of teams and projects. However, the tool itself cannot give you the way of working, and it is not possible to expect results in faster and more efficient way from the tool alone. The flexibility in the tool also brings responsibility to teams and individuals to understand how to use it efficiently. In the case of Scaled Agile Framework, we talk about different levels of delivery. The true potential will not be achieved just by working in one level in specific when it comes to that delivery. So everyone needs to be included on all levels. That includes teams, that includes their delivery areas, which such as Agile release trains, but that is also including the top business areas of delivery and releases, such as portfolio areas. Involvement of everyone means individual and team efforts in filling in information in the tool itself. In this way, we are able to have this tracking from idea to code and vice versa that we are going to talk about. The tool allows collaboration through transparency and traceability, but teams by themselves should be involved and collaborate more with joint effort to deliver this value. So here are some challenges that we have among different projects. Efficient support of teams' daily work, traceability between idea and code. So this is a very interesting topic in itself because we need to create collaborative environments in order to gain this traceability and transparency. Traceability is created through adding all the data of work that is planned and done in the tool and interconnecting it on different ways in the tool. So this is how we are creating a transparent environment in our setup. We also have a line of sight. So how to know where we are heading and what are the incoming plans. We have the value. Uh, we need to understand when we are delivering and what we are delivering. And also last challenge, which is connected, related to metrics that we need to use to follow up on work, remove bottlenecks, and improve continuously. So how to start working towards that goal? For the sake of this presentation and explanation, we have divided this into three modules. We have delivery, model, and a daily work. Firstly, we need to define our delivery. What and when. So what are we delivering and in what time frames are we delivering? This is done by defining work items that you will work with, which are used to define and to break down the delivery into smaller deliverables. Then this is done also by vertical slicing techniques, which are taught whenever you are going to refine these work items. In the end, this results in the releasable products. So work items are highly connected with the code, which is a real value what team is going to deliver. And work items and codes are delivered in time box intervals, which are defined in sprints and increments. This is as per Scaled Agile Framework guidelines. So this is also something that is really useful for delivery in the hierarchical way. The second part is a model. So how do we actually achieve this? We are achieving this through a defined process and unified way of working among projects and organization. Everything is set to create this traceability by adding code, by adding work items, tests, and other details. And also visually having everything at one place. So having one organization, one project. This can create a transparency in your environment so that teams can collaborate and deliver a value. And lastly, what we have is a daily work. So tool and process are designed to be there as a help in the projects rather than bottlenecks in everyday work for teams. Supporting our workflow in the tool itself, it can easily become a routine in your daily work, and it can minimize impediments in terms of collaboration and transparency. Daily activities should be directly involved in a tool as it is a baseline for our planning, for our code versioning, for build, deploy process, testing, and etc. Okay, so we have now come to the first demo of the day. This demo serves as the introduction into what we have talked about right now, where we would like to show you just a small overview of how planning in the tool works and what do we mean when we talk about the concept from idea to code. These are 3 bullet points we will briefly cover in this demo. First will be work items. These are deliverables of which we have 3 different types in the tool. They are what we plan and what we base our work on. These deliverables are found inside backlogs and boards. So backlogs will show us a list of the hierarchy of the work items and also the list of the work items in general. And boards will show us visually the cards of these work items. So let us now jump into the first demo, which will be a quick one. Okay. So this is a project that we created just for the sake of the webinar. You can use as well your accounts to create, to test out Azure DevOps services for a free trial by Microsoft. It is provided by Microsoft and test out all of these features. But I would like just to note that we will go into more details of work items and hierarchy of the work items and how they are set up in our next demo and our future and our couple of next slides. Right now, I will just show you what we mean by the idea, from idea to code title. So first of all, I will create one commit. That commit will be done in our repositories, and that will trigger my pipelines. That will trigger my release. I created a CI/CD pipelines. Basically, whenever I do a commit in the repository, it will trigger my pipeline that will do a deployment. That deployment and that commit are connected to my work item. So I will be able to see it in my work that is done. I will do that first just because we need some time for the pipeline to build. So let me just go into repositories first. Okay, so I have some code here. I have some code that we took for the purposes of the demo. And I can just enter any code here and I will try to edit it just to create a short commit. So I will not do any changes whatsoever. I will just have this nothing basically just to create a commit. And I will click on commit here. once I do a commit, I have my branch name, which is master, and I will link it to specific work item that is connected to what I'm working on. So this is something that will track my deployments as well and will track what I did with my code. So for this sake, I will connect it to the task 88, which is create demo. And I connected this commit to this, and this task will show me a whole process. So it will show me this commit details, and it will show me also deployments, build and release pipelines. So I will click on commit. And now I created the commits, and when I go into pipelines, because it is CI/CD, automatically everything is done, I can see that my pipeline is triggered, and now it will build my deployment and then release it. So because this takes some time, I will just leave it as it is, and I will show you some other things until this finishes. But as you can see in your pipelines, you can see all the stages that are happening currently. But we will now go into the other part, which is boards and backlogs. Now, boards will show me my work items. So it will show me how my board looks like visually, the cards of the work items that I have. So I will go to the Epic board firstly, and I will show you, okay, so this is my Epic board, and this is where I can keep an eye on my epics that are created. I can see basically who is working on what, in which stage this epic is, and I can see the details of it. I can see state of the work item and etc. This is where we can follow up on the work that has been done. But except of the boards, we also have backlogs. So backlogs are the list of work items, as we mentioned. And backlogs are good to create the hierarchical view of the work that we need to have or to deliver, basically. So if we have this hierarchy, you can see that we have a couple of work items, different work items. So on the top of the hierarchy, we have Epic, which is delivered. It is broken down into features, and features are broken down into user stories. And then user stories, we have specific tasks that need to be completed by team members in order for this user story to be delivered. You can see that we have states for this. We can see the whole hierarchical view, basically, of the delivery of specific business case, for example. And whenever I have bugs, I have tasks and etc. Each of them are connected to some of the things that we are working on. So for example, if I click on create PowerPoint, I can see that this is something that is in active state. I can see my description details of this, and I can also see my deployment and development part. Now, this is something that we connected to our previous release, not the one that we are doing right now, but I will show you now the one that we are doing. So let us see if this has been finished. Okay, so we can see that our pipeline has finished with the deployments. And if I go into release, I can see that it is still ongoing release here. So let us see what is happening here. So it is waiting for an agent that is ready for the job. Okay. So we will wait for it, but until it finishes, okay, so it has succeeded in this demo here. So when we see the release, so it has released to our environment, we can click in our work items here. And what we see is that work item that we connected our deployment to and our commit to. So when I open it here, basically I can see my deployment that has been completed in the testing environment, as you can see here. And I can see the build that has been completed and also the commit that has been connected to this. So if I click on this commit, it will show me what has been changed. And if I click on this build here, it will show me the details of the build as well. So you can see that we have gone through the last page that we had for the build. And of course, if you click on the release, we can see details of the release as well. We can see that it is a test environment. So this is just a short overview of why do we think that this is a good tool to have everything on mind. So starting from the work, the delivery, the planning, until the code, deployment process, and etc. So we will now close these, and I will just go back into our presentation to continue on more detailed explanation of this. Okay, so we will now jump into details of working in incremental way and talk about what we mean when we talk about delivering on different levels and how these deliverables are interconnected. The approach that we will be talking about is hierarchical, as you may have seen from our previous short demo that we had. So what is delivered and when is delivered, or all correspond to different levels. This is really nice visual representation of a hierarchical approach of delivery with three levels in mind. As the top level of delivery, we have portfolio level. So portfolio is a governance of entire solution set for an organization, meaning that it is a governance of different value streams. On the portfolio level, releasable that we are working with is Epic. Epic is a name of work item which describes a business case or a project and is a packaged value that can be delivered within around 3 months period. It is found in portfolio backlog. We mentioned that backlog will give us a list of work items that are found inside our appropriate level. Each epic has its owner, who is a driver of that epic. And also, each epic answers to a couple of major questions, such as value statement, business outcome hypothesis, and acceptance criteria. The next level of delivery is a program level or ART level. Now, ART stands for Agile Release Train, which is the value stream that aligns team that share same business and technology mission. In the ART level, deliverable that we are working with is feature. Feature delivers business value and acts as enabler for some improvements in the system, or it can also be infrastructure that is needed for a further implementation of the system. It can include additions or changes to some of the existing functionalities as well. Future work items are found in ART backlog, and ART is working on that feature's further planning and refinement. Each feature as well has its owner, who is driving that feature further, and must include business hypothesis and acceptance criteria. And the third level of delivery is a team level, where the deliverable that we are working with is called a user story. Now, user stories are short descriptions of a small piece of desired functionality, and they are intended to be short and simple and should enable implementation of that small slice of a system behavior. Some of the important parts of user stories are description and acceptance criteria. So let me just elaborate why they are in the hierarchical order. We will start from the bottom to the top this time. So at the bottom, you have user stories, which are delivered on a team level. A couple of user stories will make one feature, which is delivered on ART level. And of course, a couple of features will make one epic, which is delivered on portfolio level, and it is a releasable. Once epic is done, we can conclude that business case and move further to another one. It may be that a couple of arts or a couple of value streams are working on features that are connected to the epic, and a couple of teams are working on user stories that are connected to features. Of course, that is all decided within the sessions where you work on breaking down the structure of work items, which is called refinement sessions. That is done with your teams and with your value streams. And all of these work items inside the tool are connected with code, tests, and releases. And you can see that on the work items themselves, as we have seen in our demo previously. So when is this delivered? So after we talked about what is delivered and what each work item means, we will now discuss on when these work items are delivered. So the whole setup of incremental delivery is adjusted into three levels: time box of epics, time box of features, and time box of user stories. So again, we are talking about the hierarchical approach into when we are delivering these certain work items. Let's start from the top to bottom now. So when you have an epic that you start working on actively, this means that epic is refined and planned for in a specific time frame. This specific time frame is dedicated to the implementation of the epic, and interval of the implementation of the epic is from 3 to 5 months. After this planned interval, we will have an epic done and released. So now epic is broken down into a couple of features because we want to have smaller chunks to be delivered. As we already mentioned, each of these features also have timeframes of the implementation. In this case of scaled agile framework, time frame is one program increment. Now, a program increment lasts between 8 weeks to 10 weeks, depending on your value stream and your setup in the organization. That is discussable, of course. But at the end of this 8 weeks, a feature is expected to be completed and delivered. And now, into even smaller chunks is what we refine when it comes to the features. Each feature is broken down into user stories. Now, user stories are worked in team level, and that is the real value that teams are actually delivering. It is planned within their planning sessions. Planning sessions are organized every 2 weeks to prepare for the upcoming 2 weeks. And that is what we dedicate our time to in the next 2 weeks to deliver at the end. So user story should be delivered within 2 weeks. At the end of the 2 weeks, we assume that all the user stories are closed. We have review sessions, and we have also retrospectives to understand what our bottlenecks were in those 2 weeks. Okay, so we have come to the second demo of today's presentation. This one will be a little bit longer, and we will go through what we presented in our previous slides, and we will go into more details from the first demo. So these are some of the topics that we will be covering, starting from the work item details to board details. We will show you we will show you extensions such as delivery plans and portfolio plans. And we will also go over area paths and iteration path structures, which are inspired by what we have talked about right now. So we will show you these things in our demo right now. So let me go on the website again. So again, we have this nice setup that we will be working with right now in our demo. Okay, so firstly, we have talked about work items. So Azure DevOps Services provides a lot of different customizations when it comes to work items. You have specific work items that you are working with, which you deem to be deliverables, but you have additional ones, such as bugs, test cases, and etc., which you can also use, of course, in your when you are working in teams and when you are working for your delivery. We will now talk about epics, features, and user stories in more details. So if I go into new work item, these are the work items I have in my process currently. So the epic is the biggest one. So I will start with the epic right now. So this is how the work item looks predefined before I even define the details of it. So I have specific, basically I have specific fields that I need to adjust in order for others to be able to refine this even further and for us to be able to deliver this. So we have a title, of course, assigned to field, these are common things that you have on all work items, and also tags, which can help you out to define, let's say, which value streams does your work item is connected to, which teams needs to deliver these work items, and etc. And each work item also has a state, a reason for that state. and the area and iteration, which we will show you later on. Value statement, business outcome hypothesis, acceptance criteria, and leading indicators. These are inspired by the SAFe predefined fields. Value statement is where you add the description of the epic, business outcome hypothesis, some of the hypothesis benefits that you want to have as the outcome from your epic. Acceptance criteria is your definition of done, and it is defined in every work item, epic, feature, and user story, because we need to have our definition of done, what we deem that is that means that is completed, basically. And also leading indicators, which is also something that is valuable in this case. We also have a planning part where we define start date and a target date, and also classifications where we can define our value areas of the delivery, which can be infrastructure, business, architecture, and etc. Of course, every work item also comes with the deployment part, development part, and related work. These are all the things which we connect to our codes, to our deployments, and also to our tests. Now, this is when it comes to the epic. I will now show you how it looks like for the feature perspective. So feature has a lot of similar fields, but has also its own defined fields, which is benefit hypothesis and acceptance criteria. So benefit hypothesis is where we also define a description and measurable benefits that we will get from this feature. And also the acceptance criteria is where we will define our definition of done for this feature to be completed and delivered. Except for that, also we have other fields such as risks, effort, business value, target dates, self-explanatory. Risks where we identify our risks, effort where we identify how complex this feature will be, business value, how high of the value this has if you want to compare it to other features in your value area, and also target date until when we want this feature to be released and completed. And lastly, we have our user story. So our user story is where we need to define this in order for teams to be able to deliver what is asked for them. So user stories are defined in refinement sessions together with your product owners and business, where you will understand what team members need to actually complete when it comes to their work. So I will add a description, which has predefined fields for it, and I will add acceptance criteria. And also solution in case solution is already implemented, we just need already decided, we just need to implement it. We also have in the planning part story points. Now in the Agile, we have different ceremonies that we use in order for us to plan our work and to refine our work to deliver more incrementally. One of these ceremonies, meetings that we have is also related to plannings. When we are planning our delivery in the teams, we use story points to plan. So story points are something that is decided among the team on the complexity of this work item. And that is how we know how much work items, how much user story can we take within one sprint. Because story points will define how much we can execute actually in that sprint. If we have too many story points, then we need to figure out to remove something so that we are not late with the execution of the things. Of course, this is the learning curve, as everything is, and it's not something that is probably figurable at first in the first ceremonies, but it is something that we can work with later on. Okay, so we have completed the work items. Now we will go into more details on the boards. So each board is connected to the backlog. Backlog is a list of work items where, as we mentioned, a list of the work items, which is connected to our area path. Area path being if we are delivering on portfolio levels, epics, if we are delivering on art levels feature, or team level user stories. This, what you see here, is the epic level. So in ideal world, we would have one epic board and all the epics would be in that one board. Uh, that is how we would actually track what needs to be delivered when it comes to business cases. If we have many business cases from different value areas that needs to deliver and etc. And this is where we want to create like the whole picture of delivery from our organization. You can see here that we have specific columns that we are working with. Now this is customizable, of course, as everything is here. We have decided to show you this way. It is, of course, customizable and it can be changed. This board is for more understanding in what stage that work item is. So if you have, for example, funnel, it's only started to you just started to define that work item or business case. If you are reviewing, that means that somebody from your core team or business team needs to review this. If you have analyzing, it's when you are defining your solution. Um, and this is when we are defining this topic to be ready to be broken down on feature level and etc. So implementation is for active when we started implementing it and actually delivering value. We then define the validation of the epic, which is where we test it out, do UAT testing and etc. And of course, when it is done, it is in the done state. Now, each of these boards, each of these cards can contain specific details on itself, basically to understand what this epic is about. So you can customize it. You can add title, assign to field states, different tags which you can use, and as well you can see the hierarchy here. So I can see the delivery. I can see actually my features when it comes to this epic in particular, and what has been done or what is not done. So in case this is done, I can just cross it out and it will be done. And I will actually see that this feature is completed, something else is moved forward, and so on. And this is actually created by the prioritization order. So the first feature is something that needs to be firstly done, then the second one, third one, and so on. Each board is connected to our backlog, which is the list of the work item that we have. And of course, we can follow on our delivery here as well. So as we shown previously, you have the hierarchical order here to show actually what we are going to deliver for the specific epic here. And I will just go back to the boards and I will show you now how feature and user story board looks like as well. So on feature board, we will go to the art level as we mentioned here. So let's go to the art alpha. And here is where we have our features. So these features are what we got from some of the epics and what our value area needs to work on. A value area which contains a couple of themes. And as you can see here, we also have specific columns for stages of the features. Work intake, solution design, ready for PI, planned for PI, program increment in safe is what is dedicated for the whole feature to be completed, and program increment, there is a session at the end of each program increment which is related to a planning session, like a big room planning session, basically, where everyone from our art, so all the teams, product owners and etc., come together to plan what they will deliver in the next increment. Those sessions are active at the end of the each PI. Of course, in progress column, when we are starting to deliver this value, and also we have feature validation where we validate the features, and closed. Uh, This is also customizable as well as cards. So you can see here that the feature has been broken down into user stories, which are then done on Teams level, and they are actually delivered. What is also a good thing about this is that we can actually connect our testing with this boards, and we can show our test cases. We can show our test suits, test plans that we generated for these features, for example, or user stories. And if I click here, I can see that I have one test that is added. I can add another one, test 2, for example. These tests are something that is connected to my test plan that I created for this specific feature to be validated. So if I click here, I can see that my test plan is generated. I have a set of test cases that I need to perform in order to validate this feature. And of course, you can execute them. You can, I mean, you have automated tests, you have manual tests. So it depends from test perspective for those features. But both of them are executable here. And once I execute them, so if I mark outcome as a pass or as a failed, let me just add everything, the second one as a failed. And then if I refresh this board, so what will happen then? Oh, I have here the X mark for this feature. So what it means is that even though we have a test that has passed, we have another test that has failed, which means that testing in a whole has failed. And we cannot validate this feature until we deem this test to be passed as well. So what happens then? We create a bug. Bug is then connected to a specific user story, and that bug needs to be executed and completed by our development team. Once that is done, of course, we will re-execute our test cases, and then we can deem our tests to be passed in case it is passed. Once it is passed, we will have a different thing. So I will just quickly go here and I will pass my test. And if I refresh the board, I can see that all of my tests have passed and this is validated. So it means that this feature has been completed, perhaps. And you can see that those test execution histories and everything that's related to testing. So this is really a good thing that is implemented in the boards as well. We do our testing on a feature level and on a story level mainly. Of course, on the epic level, there is another way to validate things. But let's go now into the team level as well, just to show you the board on a team level. Now, except of the things that we already have in our other boards. So we have cards for user stories, we have columns that are manageable in the process. Teams are able to customize this by themselves to adapt it to their way that they think it should be done. We also can connect test cases in the same way that we connect it on a feature level, but also we have bugs on this level as well. So mostly bugs are worked as tasks, meaning that we want to deliver them on a specific user stories to connect them to specific deliverables. Of course, in case you have some production issues, production bugs, they are delivered separately as user stories, but this is something that we connect from our deliverables. And of course, tasks. So tasks are those daily works that team needs to do, basically. So this is also something that we can connect on our board and something that team works on and that is actually delivered. Of course, I won't go into too many details when it comes to the backlog because we already saw, but each of the levels has their backlog and each of the levels plan their work in a specific way. So if you have, this is a user story backlog and this is the backlog from a team. So team has set of the things that they need to work on. They can plan their work in this way. So if you see on the right side here, we have a planning part, which is connected to specific sprints where this needs to be delivered, basically. So I can easily drag and drop, for example, in the first sprint or in the second sprint when I'm planning my work to be done, and so on. And you have here planned effort part, which will actually show you how much of those story points that we discussed before you have, and how much did you plan for the next sprint. And in case you don't deliver this at the end, so you don't deliver that many story points, you need to switch to smaller amount of story points. That is something that needs to be discussed on the retrospective as well. So that's why we have these ceremonies, basically. And I wanted also to show you just quickly how we can set up our deliveries, basically. So if we want, we work with cross-team collaboration, and we work with different teams inside our arts. Whenever we have PI planning session, we want to see that as we want to see those work items. We want to create that plan because we need to work. Let's say we have dependencies cross teams. So one team needs to finish something in order for other team to be able to take it over, and etc. This is where we can define it. So delivery plans is really nice extension. Right now it will be a feature in the Microsoft new releases that we can use to follow up on our plan and so on. So you can see here that, for example, I have my team, which is team one. I can, of course, this is customizable. I just created it for the sake of demo. But I have my team one, which is, of course, it has PI1, PI1 sprint one, PI2 sprint two, and etc. And I have also my features at the top here. And as you can see here, I can actually, I mean, drag and drop, for example, from one PI, from one sprint to another. And whenever you have these collaborative sessions, you can actually define what you need to work on in each sprint so that you can manage these dependencies easily. And this is something that you can also show to other stakeholders. Okay, this is what we plan to be delivered. These features are something that we will have at the end of our increment, for example. So this is a really nice way to use that extension as well. And another extension which we want to show you when it comes to the delivery is more broader delivery. So I have my portfolio plans extension. Uh, this is something that will visually display me epics and features. So epics are business cases, and we want sometimes to show them to our businesses, and we want to uh, create this plan of delivery, basically. And how we do that is that we can create that in this extension here. So you can add epics that you are planning to deliver, let's say within 1 year or within half a year, basically, or within 2 years. So you can choose on those things, which you can show to your businesses. And of course, once, for example, for these epics, we didn't add other work items, but here we added work items. Like we refined it into smaller work items. So we have features, we have user stories, and etc. This is something that we shown you in the demo as well. And you can see that we have 18 work items that need to be closed in order for this to be completed. Once we have some of the features that closed, this progress bar will be filled in. So it will be a green colored, basically. So yeah, this is something that we can also show to, as I mentioned, to our stakeholders. We can add features. So for example, if you have one epic, you can add a couple of features here to show how they span in your plan. You can add multiple of features, multiple of epics, and etc. So to create really nice visual representation of your delivery plans, basically. Okay, so this is what we wanted to show when it comes to planning part and execution part. And I just wanted to shortly describe how these settings are created in the Azure DevOps. So if you go into project settings, and we go into project configuration here. So firstly, there is many project settings that you can set up here. For example, we have multiple of teams that are working inside this portfolio. We have a project configuration, which is set on this whole level. So everyone will work in the same way. basically. So that is what we mean by having one organization and one project. Everyone inside each of the teams will work in the same cadences, in the same time box intervals. So I will firstly show you the areas and then we will jump into iterations. So as I mentioned, areas are value areas, so where we actually deliver our work items. Uh, as the top, we have this webinar. Now it is called webinar because the project is called webinar. This is deemed to be a portfolio level, so the top level of the delivery. Let's say our organization, basically. At the next level, we have arts, which are our value streams. So that is where we deliver our features. And you can see we have a couple of arts here. And underneath each art, we have teams that are connected to these business value areas. And they have the same concept, the same idea when it comes to the business areas. So we have a couple of teams from here, basically, underneath each art. So in case, for example, that different arts needs to collaborate, different business areas needs to deliver something, which is commonly the case a lot in the large scale organizations. That is something which we, of course, collaborate with together with our arts on our planning sessions and etc. And iterations, as we mentioned, are something time boxed intervals where we define our cadences. So for epics, we will deliver them at the top level, same as it was for the areas. Cadences for the epics are decided on the epic themselves. So you saw that we have start date and the end date for the epics. Now for the features, features and user stories are delivered at the same cadences. Features, we have PIs, so program increments, which last 8 to 10 weeks. In this case, we set it up to be 8. And underneath each PI, you have sprints in which you deliver user stories. So this is how everyone inside one project actually work with. Okay, so in this way, we have completed our demo for the day, and I would like to continue with our presentation. So we have covered all of these things: work item details, board and backlog details, delivery and portfolio plans, area paths, and iteration path structure. And now to conclude our session. So today's presentation is based on Lean Agile model and Scaled Agile framework. We work with Azure DevOps as a tool to achieve the delivery we need and to have everything in one place set. Together with Azure DevOps, we implement all the best DevOps practices. We also continuously work on setting up continuous integration and continuous deployment setup in Azure DevOps, so you can have that tracking of everything in our work items and boards. Also, I would like to mention Microsoft documentation, from which we take a large inspiration from when it comes to best practices. So to summarize our presentation today, it is both important to have a common process and a really good tool to support that process. We think that the incremental delivery is a great way to work for different projects. As you deliver, you will deliver smaller chunks faster, and you will be able to set the common vision for your teams. It is also important to note that all the work items are broken down into smaller chunks using a system engineering. So it is not an effort that you do alone. It is the effort that you do together with your architects, solution architects, with your project managers, product owners, and etc. And it is a common effort, as we mentioned, that needs to be delivered at the end. So I would like now to hand over the word to Henrik, our business representative, and where he will talk about some of the details of our services that are offered to our clients. So Henrik, I hand over to you.
Thank you so much, Ajla. Thank you for the presentation so far. My name is Henrik. I am a part of this great team delivering our Azure DevOps services. I'm also CEO of System Verification in Bosnia, working with business development for system verification in general, but also been in the software industry 20 years now, and I love to learn. There is so much new things happening all the time, so it's great to be a part of this. So what do we solve for you? To start with, we always try to work with the tailor-made teams or experts that is adapted to the needs you actually have in your company. And we, as Ajla said before, also work with well-established best practices when it comes to everything from Microsoft documentation to DevOps practices in general. And we deliver in two different ways. Either you decide to work with us in a subscription-based model with a team behind that can support you in different areas, or we support you with the individuals that is expert on the fields that you're interested in, and that is on an hourly basis service then. So please, Ajla, next. We start with services on subscription-based model. We have a starter, professional, and enterprise set up, and with the starter package, we support you to get up and running with an agile coaching and make sure that that is well worked in your company, but also set the basis for a way of working. Enable dashboards that you need, configure the work items as you want them, and so on. In the professional package, we are more focusing on the speed and stability in your delivery. So here, Azure pipelines and artifacts come into play as well. And we help you to set that up, and so you have a fully automated continuous integration pipeline in this case. And the last one, it is enterprise setup, and it is 100% tailor-made for you. And here we can support with SLA deliveries to make sure that you get get out the expected results from our delivery and so on. So thank you. Next one is the expert services. It's a more traditional hourly based service where you select an expert in the field you want, and it will be a part of your team and in your development organization. But how do we get to the operate level, which we call it? Either you have done a lot of work on your own, or we will support you with it. So the first thing we do is to make some kind of an analysis or proof of concept to make sure that we know how to get further. Either we help you with that, or you have done it on your own, and we can skip this step completely. With the result from the analysis and proof of concept, we will have a cost estimation and an idea about how much work it is to implement the solution. And then we support you with that. Either we do it on our own or together with you, or you have already passed that step as well. And then we are in the operation mode, and with the known facts about the implementation, we can also make sure that you get the right type of service in operation mode. Okay, next one. And I can say that the example I gave was regarding Azure DevOps, but this could be applied to all of other services as well. It could be performance testing, test automation, security, or our software health checks. So it's not limited to only Azure DevOps. We have the same way of working when it comes to the other services as well. So if you need more input regarding this, please feel free to reach out to me. You have my contact number and so on our webpage. And with that said, I would like to hand over to you again to tell us a little bit about what's happening next year when it comes to webinars.
Thank you, Henrik, once more for this valuable details provided on our services. So we would now like to introduce our next upcoming webinar. Next one will be more focused on the technical aspects of the Azure DevOps services. We would like to focus this topic more on the quality engineering in specific. So Azure DevOps services as a tool, as you saw already, provides a lot of features, a lot of things that we can actually implement. And one of these things is also test plan. And we would like to show some of the best practices for working with the test plan, together with manual testing, together with how to create traceability from work items and tests, and also maybe to include test automation in unit testing for our webinar. Uh, we will discuss these topics. These are something that we have currently in our minds, and we would like to say that this is something that we will work on in February or March. Uh, Most likely end of February or beginning of the March is where we will have this new webinar related to this technical topic. And of course, we would like to hear from you. What else would you like to hear from us when it comes to these topics? Of course, you can contact us. Our team email is here. And also, in case you have something that you would like to ask our sales or business representatives, you can, of course, contact Hendrik on his email address as well. We are responsive, so feel free to ping us for anything that you need. And we have now come to Q&A session.
All right. Thank you very much, Ayla, for a lovely presentation. And also thank you, Henrik, for your input about sales and offerings that we can help out for many customers. Yeah, we have received a lot of questions. Some of them are related to the process, some of them are related to the tool itself, and also we got some questions about the team. So let's start with the first one. The first question is, how configurable are the boards and work items? Do you as a team support with this if they need to be customized, or you recommend to use standard template?
Okay, so everything is customizable, as I already mentioned, starting from the boards to the whole process setup, basically. Azure DevOps provides you with pre-generated templates that you can follow. However, there is also practices, best practices where you need to add, let's say, additional fields inside your work items, or as you saw, you need to add additional columns and etc. So this is something that we take our inspiration, as I mentioned, from SAFe. In this case, it was from Scaled Agile Framework. Of course, it can be other processes as well, and Agile delivery. But typically, we will, of course, customize it based on the whole organizational setup. And this is something that we also work with. So we try to follow best practices. We try to guide projects, try to guide organizations, and elaborate on what is necessary for teams to deliver when it comes to boards, when it comes to work items in the process, and so on. So yeah, this is also something that we do as well.
All right, thank you, Ayla, very much. Just a reminder, if you have any questions in the meantime, just post them in the chat, in the group chat, or send it directly to me and we will bring it up. So the next question was related to the environments. Can I visualize different environments in boards? For example, dev, test, pre-prod, and prod, or is it only one environment per work item?
Of course, you can visualize it. In our session here, we just demoed for the testing environment. However, in the pipelines, you have whenever you are deciding on which environment do you want to post it, the deployment or release, you decide which type of environment it is. So it can be test, it can be staging environment, it can be production environments, and whenever you have more environments that you need to post, that you need to add your process in, that is also visible in our work items. So all of the environments that are set that we deployed this work into, they are visible on the work items themselves.
Well, the next question is pretty similar to this one, but let's try to answer it. You have shown connections on task level. So do we connect code or test only on task level, or it is possible to do it on other levels as well?
It is possible to do it on another levels, of course. This is something that you will discuss with your teams on which level do you want to deliver the code, and which level do you want to test out. Mostly, it is delivered on sprints or task levels, and releases in case you are releasing only features on the production environment. For example, you will have features connected to your production environment, for example, or epics and so on. So typically, testing is done on sprints level. You also can connect it on a feature level. It is also connectable on the epic level. So, but of course, it depends from project to project, and what is suggested for those projects as well. So, of course, that is something that we can discuss and talk about whenever we do the project implementation or when it comes to this process.
Thank you, Ayla. The next question is related more to the team rather than process and the tool. So the next question will be, how do you contribute as a team with the agile transformation? Are you part of the team's clients and teams, or you are just supporting them with improvements on demand?
Both. So we have both of these setups. We are a part of the process implementation. We have trainings, educations, coaching as well when it comes to the agile delivery also. And we also have coaching and trainings when it comes to the Azure DevOps as a tool, and also best practices of the agile in the Azure DevOps. We do both of these things because we contribute together with our agile coaches in the whole agile transformation journey. We have different value areas where we migrate. Migration doesn't only mean from a technical perspective, of course. We need to go through things before they actually can start working in this way, and before they actually can understand the whole setup and why this is beneficial for them. And this is what our team works as well with this. So we work together with agile coaches. We do sessions when it comes to agile coaching and when it comes to Azure DevOps as a tool, and we do these implementations as well. So this is basically the whole setup is also done by our team, and also something on demand. In case it is something really urgent that needs to be set up, we of course do those things as well.
Thank you, Ayla. Now we are jumping back to the tool-related question. How to follow up on deliveries in Azure DevOps? Any way that we can measure how often we deliver?
Oh, of course, of course. There's a lot of things that you can implement in the Azure DevOps which can help you out measure different things and your releases and etc. So what we didn't show here, we have shown in our previous webinar. Perhaps we will create a presentation on that as well. But there is a whole metric setup which you can create here. So what you can create is a dashboard with widgets to visualize how your pipelines functions, how your releases functions, how your testing pipelines function, or your cycle times, your lead times of the work items, and etc. And you can set that up on dashboards in the Azure DevOps itself. What else you can do, and what we do also as a team, is that we create customized Power BI dashboards. Now, Power BI is a tool from Microsoft which uses the data from different sources, in this case from Azure DevOps, and we connect that Power BI to the Azure DevOps. We create a dashboard which then visualizes more detailed view of the cycle time of the work items, lead time of the work items for specific teams. So how they deliver it within specific increments or sprints and etc. And at the end, there are graphs, charts that are visualized in that. At the end of each sprint, or each sprint and each increment, there is a way that we analyze these charts and show to others, and they also do that in their teams, so that they can actually understand what their bottlenecks were, if they have been good in that sprint or increment, or if they haven't been. So there is numerous ways to track that, of course, and it is customizable as well.
All right, thank you, Ayla. The next question would be, would you recommend Azure DevOps services for small projects, estimation of 6 months or less?
Of course. Of course, yes. Azure DevOps Services is a great platform for the whole setup. So you don't need to use, I don't know, different, let's say you use Jenkins, you use Jira, you use um, test rail for testing, for example. So this is something where you can have everything at one place. That's why we recommend it. You don't need to use additional platforms or additional things, and everything is visualized in one piece as it is here. So any type of project is something that can benefit out of this. And I would highly recommend it, especially if you are doing things with testing and with pipelines. Also with boards, but especially with pipelines and testing purposes, because these features are some of the greatest that are out there when it comes to the softwares in general, at least from our point of view. Pipelines are really, really fast. You have various ways to implement them, testing as well. So test cases, automated, manual, you can track progress reports on all of these. So it's, yeah, yeah, shortly, yes, of course.
Thank you, Ayla. The next question is, can we use any other process in Azure DevOps? What are the possibilities?
Yeah, of course. You have, as I mentioned, predefined process templates in the Azure DevOps. So you have Agile process template, you have Scrum process template, and a basic process template. Now, on each of these process templates, you can customize them per your wishes. So, for example, you can take, what we do is that we take Agile process template and we add specific fields or customize it as per needs of the organization in case it is agile. In case it is something else, of course, you can add, I don't know, basic process template and then customize it per your wishes. There is also a way to create it from scratch. So you have a lot of various ways to do that in the Azure DevOps itself. Of course, this is something that administrators need to do, so it is not something that's possible from team members because you have all these permissions and only those that are in charge of the whole Azure DevOps setup should be the one to implement those changes as well.
Thank you, Ayla. The next question would be, how scalable is tool and process? Is it possible to scale it as an organization is growing? What are the challenges in this process?
Of course, it is very scalable. As I mentioned, we can add a lot of things on the go. What we do, well, because we work with really large scale organizations and really huge clients that we have in system verification, it is not always the case that client wants every team or every value area to be migrated towards that process. It is sometimes the case that you want to test out firstly on a couple of teams or one value area, and then if you see the results from it, it is easily done to just migrate other value areas as well. And that's what is also a good thing to do. From my point of view, at least to start small and build up on it. And that is something that the tool can support. So you can always add new teams. There is a limit of a lot of teams when it comes to this DevOps setup. And you can always add new areas and always add new iterations and so on. So yeah, it is very scalable. Uh, yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Ayla. The next question and the last one that we have received is it possible to see only features while looking at app export, or we can see items on lower level as well?
From the board perspective, no. From the board, you can only see the next level work items. So if you go into the board, you will see features. What we use to see the whole delivery is backlog. We show that as well. So the backlogs are what we see and what we add, where we actually analyze our whole delivery, basically. So unfortunately not in the boards, it's not showable, but in the backlogs, yes, you can see the whole delivery.
In the meantime, we have received one more question. Can we have one presentation from administration perspective to see the way of building it?
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Of course, yes, I would say so. Yeah, that is also something that's really good topic to discuss. Of course, there is a lot of things that go into it, and probably it will be more from a demo perspective. But of course, why not? That's also a very nice topic to cover. We can do that for sure.
Well, thank you all, and thank you for your questions. We have recorded today's session, so in case you missed something, we will get back to you through the email. And also we will share a link for anonymous survey, so you can get back to us with your wishes or what you would like to have in the future, and also to give a feedback about today's session. So any improvements and topics that you would like to have, feel free to bring it up. Thank you, everyone. It was a pleasure to have you today, and see you next time.
See you. Bye bye.